World versus World is not about playing fairly, and you can't expect others to do so. If you go out there alone, you'll often face overwhelming odds, and because your enemies don't fight fairly, you absolutely should not either. This video will show some clips of how I use terrain in Guild Wars 2 to even the odds in outnumbered situations. Because of how the Guild Wars 2 action combat system works, many abilities have very specific ranges. Some are projectiles, some are melee range, and some abilities will not persist through terrain. Creating a height difference between you and your enemies can often make it impossible for them to land their attacks on you even if they are in range. And of course, hiding behind objects will line of sight projectiles. If you just fight in open field in outnumbered situations, there's no way you'll survive being focused. Using terrain can allow you to split your enemies. For example, if I'm being attacked by one ranged enemy and one melee enemy and I go around a corner, the ranged enemy can no longer hit me and I can focus on 1v1ing the melee enemy. When the ranged enemy repositions to get in line of sight, I can just keep positioning around that object, essentially eliminating that ranged player from the fight. That is the most basic example, and it often is much more complex than that, so let's get into some real situations. So here is a 1v2 against a Soul Beast and a Chronomancer. I try to pressure them, but I see the Chronomancer goes into Continuum Rift, so I immediately back off. I don't want to deal with that, that's just a really dangerous situation. Now that they're not in their Continuum Rift, they're going to be using their combo again. So yeah, I'm still kiting back towards the Dredge area. And I get knocked. I'm going to be okay because I have my block still. And I have my stability. I'm going to pop that. And I'm probably going to get the stealth there from hitting the NPC there with my stealth shot. And I do a really big burst on the Chronomancer from stealth. I get a really good CC into my maul, and I get the Chronomancer down. Now at this point, the Soul Beast still is very dangerous to me because they can do a lot of bursts, and having to deal with the downstate Mesmer at the same time is going to complicate this a lot. I get in stealth, and I precast my barrage before I reveal, and now I'm in a 1v1 versus a Soul Beast, but I'm pretty low on cooldowns because I've been 1v2 and it's kind of dangerous. So I eat a massive maul there, which is pretty unfortunate, so I'm going to have to kite. I give them back another maul and I'm constantly kiting back, but I see that the green team is coming in, so their ranger is blue. So this is kind of like a three-way now, and I'm using the evade frame from my F2, but yeah, I have to really get out, and the ranger is still attacking me as the green team is pushing into me, so this is really dangerous. I am staying near to the wall so that I'm constantly line of sighting as soon as possible, and yeah, using stealth on the minions from my hunter shot, and just going to reset until I can get into a better positioning. So here I see the Soul Beast is pushing back into that fight, so I'm going to rejoin as well. I'm going to go on top of this pipe, which is a lot safer because for them to get on top of the pipe, they're going to need to like go all the way around, so I can really only be pressured from range. So this is a really safe spot, and I'm able to pressure the Mesmer very hard here and actually get them down. So I jump down, and now we've got one green down and one blue down. So I have to decide, do I want to hurt the blue or do I want to hurt the green? And since there's another green alive, I do want to hurt the green to make the fight a little bit more even. But what that means is that the blue guy is going to revive, right? So this is a good play because there's a lot more green than there is blue. So I start fighting the green, letting the blue guy survive, and just choosing my target based on what can allow me to win. Like, what is my win condition? So I precast barrage into my stability there, and it looks like the blue ranger has just left. So I'm now stuck in a 1v2 against green, so it shows that this was a good decision. And I actually get a double maul on the soul beast here and get them down, but my point blank shot isn't up in time and the ranger gets revived by the necromancer. So this is kind of dangerous. I have Sikkim and One Wolf pack up, so I am going to use that. They have stability, so I can't really do much there, but I do get a really good maul and secondary maul as well. And this time I'm going to need to really go for the stomp early, so I do the stealth from my hunter shot. I get the point blank shot this time, and I precast barrage on the down body, but I realize that I don't have stability, so I can't secure the stomp. So I go and chase the Reaper instead, because if I can secure the kill on the Reaper, then it'll be a lot more safe than trying to secure a kill on a Ranger, which has a lot more revive potential. So here we get the stomp, and now we're in a 1v1 against the Ranger. I demerge with the pet and do the leap through the smoke field for stealth, and then I re-engage on the Ranger, and at this point I'm getting all of my burst up. I have the One Wolf pack, I have Sikkim. I'm going to use my smoke assault into pretty much getting the kill there. Here I am playing a pistol Deadeye, and this is not one of the better builds for surviving outnumbered, but I do have quite a bit of ports that I can juke around with. And here, yeah, I'm getting jumped on by quite a few people, and there's a lot of people on me. So I'm trying to get out of combat here using my ports, the shortbow, and I managed to get out of combat, which is going to be good. I steal to that mosquito just to get a little bit more sustain maybe. But I'm able to mount, and they're still chasing. Now I am potentially able to go to my safe spots, or I can go into Dredge and potentially get a kill by splitting them up using the terrain here. So I go on top of this pillar here, which is really good because by the time they realize that I'm on top of this and not just running around the corner, they essentially have been split, and that allows me to get some really good burst damage on this warrior, which can't really attack me because I'm higher than they're able to attack. And now that they've backed off, I can kill the warrior in the back, and I'm able to use my elite here to go in stealth and get the stealth stomp. And now that they've realized that I'm fighting again, they come back, but now they're in a bad position because they've lost their warrior and they're kind of split up. So I get a really easy kill on the necromancer as well right after I get the down on the hollow there. So yeah, that's kind of how you want to be using the terrain to split the enemies rather than just fight them all at the same time. Here's a clip of a dragon hunter build. Now in this clip I'll be showing how certain abilities can become more powerful when used on terrain because it's harder to play around them. So mostly as a dragon hunter, your traps are counterplayable through world versus world because it's so open space. But if I use them in smaller spaces by going on terrain and cutting through spots like this where I can place down my trap, as you can see, and once they trigger the test of faith, it covers the entire tunnel. So they have to either dodge through it or walk through my test of faith. Now I have quite a bit of people on me, so I'm kiting up to this spot while I'm using my shield 5 there because it'll block any projectiles that are going to try to shoot at me while I'm going on the terrain, because they can't really hit me with melee while I'm using the terrain, and they can also hit me with the projectiles while I'm using the shield. But of course they're chasing me, so I have to go to the next kite spot, and I put down my test of faith here. And as you can see, it's so awkward for them to try to get through the test of faith because they have to go up the terrain, which means they have to go through the test of faith twice. So using the test of faith in the spot gives me so much value, and it makes the dragon hunter build really good at kiting on terrain. So I get pulled off by the Malek's Herald here, and that means that these kiting spots are not as effective as I really want them to be. So I have to keep going back and forth between multiple kiting spots, because if I just get pulled off, well then I'm in a really bad spot. So I need to be constantly moving between different terrains. Now I use my Judge's Intervention here to avoid getting knocked, but I get knocked anyways. I go up this pipe, And at this point, I'm pretty aware of the Malik sleep on the Revenant, so I'm trying to avoid it. And I go down the tunnel again. Now there is a really good spot that I can use here by jumping on the pipe onto the second pipe, which I'll show you right now. But essentially, I'm not able to use that because I know that they're chasing me really hard and that the Malik's Herald would probably pull me off anyways. So I'm just trying to use distance rather than terrain here. And I'm able to Judge's Intervention out of that heavy pressure situation to get towards the terrain spot again. And at this point, the enemies have basically kind of given up except for the Herald. So now that the Herald is the only one left, I'm able to fight them in a more fair situation and able to get a lot more pressure on them. And my teammates have actually come in and now we're outnumbering them. So if you survive long enough to hold out for your team to arrive, then you'll, in a lot of cases, get more results than if you just try to play as aggressively as possible as soon as possible. So that's pretty much how you want to be using terrain. If you like this kind of content, then like the video, subscribe for more, check out the links below. If you want to support me more, you can also become a patron, and the link to that is also below. I will see you all next time.